Oh hey guys, welcome back to RBR. You just caught me once again admiring all of the unique components that form the total of the E63S. And sometimes we don't realize how much goes into making a performance variant of a car versus the standard version. And today I'm going to show you every single part that makes the E63S such a masterpiece. And it's good timing as well, because recently we also reviewed some of its rivals like the RS6, the M5 Competition LCI, and the new Porsche Panamera Turbo. All of that is fresh in my mind, and compared to all of those cars, the E63S, technically speaking, has had the least changes. And that's either laziness or an extreme show of confidence from AMG that they don't feel that they need to change that much or create a CS model, for example, in order to battle the rivals. So I'm going to show you every bit of this car, then I'm going to show you the sound, and then we're going to take it out for a ride and see just how quick it is 0 to 60. Spoiler, it's quicker than the official figures, no surprise there, along with every detail of this, the brand new E63S facelift. So guys, today's episode of RBR is sponsored by YFood. Now this isn't a protein shake, this is in fact a full meal replacement for someone like you or me who are super busy and otherwise would have junk just to quickly eat something. This instead gives you a complete meal that's actually healthy. We've got a load of different flavors like chocolate, vanilla, coconut, coffee. It's low in sugar, high in fiber. It also helps to keep you full for up to 3 to 5 hours. And they also sell powder or bars as an alternate. As always, I've got you guys a discount. Use the code RACE10, link is in the description below. Big thanks to YFood, support our sponsors, guys. All right, guys, first, let's start off with the design, because when people look at the E-Class, particularly in the facelift, I've noticed comments like, oh, not that much changed. Oh, it looks like an E220 diesel, blah, de blah, de blah. Whereas a whole lot of the car changes when it goes to full AMG specs. So let's first get rid of everything that is AMG specific on our car today. And you'll see all we are left with in reality are the doors, the rear wing, which is a shame. It'd be nice if we had rear extended arches like RS6, and the boot lid. That's it. Everything else is AMG specific, not just that grille that everybody talks about. But let's start with that front, because that is where the biggest difference is. Let's start with our standard E-Class, and now let's pop on the front of our E63S, and you will note that the front is unique. Everything from our A-pillar onwards, the arches, the extremely sporty bonnet, which is the actual way it opens and the way it's designed is more like the AMG GT than the normal E-Class's bonnet. So it's a sports bonnet essentially. We've got the power domes on there, which are very curvaceous. Of course, you've got your wide arches, as I said. I keep saying that because I love them. And then we've got the whole new front end design, which very, very GT63, isn't it? With the angry face grille now with the vertical louvres. In Germany and Europe, you can get a shadowed version of that grille. Sadly, I don't think you can get that in the UK. And then we've got the new lights, again, very AMG GT four-door. And we've got what is apparently larger or more aggressive looking air intakes. I don't think they look as aggressive as the pre-facelift personally. But yeah, that is your front end. Then of course you have the wheels, which is an obvious one. Of course you've got the AMG braking system available in either steels or the lovely ceramics. Then our side sills, again, are unique to the AMG variant. If we switch it around to the rear, of course we've got a unique rear bumper. We've got the much larger exhaust pipes, which are awesome. Wait to see those later. And the unique spoiler lip on the boot lid. So there you go. Visually, almost the entire car changes. The only thing I hold against it is it should have rear arches. But when you see the car in person versus any of the videos I'm going to show you, I hope some of them are good. I'll show you the ones now that I think show the car off best. It does look like a really muscular saloon, just like the pre-facelift did. Pictures and videos on this particular design don't really do it justice. I could show you 3 different views of the front end, and the car looks different in all of them. And this is dependent on perspective. So big changes on the outside, but that's just the tip of the iceberg versus what changes inside. If we imagine under this AMG shell is your standard E-Class, you can essentially get rid of absolutely everything. Get rid of the engines, get rid of the driveline itself, the gearbox, the braking, the exhaust system. It's essentially an empty shell. Nothing remains from your normal E-Class. So let's start adding things back in. First of all, and the most important thing, is our engine. It's the heart of any AMG, and this has probably their best engine since the 6.2 litre naturally aspirated one. That is the 4 litre twin turbo V8. It is a masterpiece in the way it sounds and the way it still feels like a natural engine. Within this engine, we've got twin scroll turbochargers. So these are much more efficient and less laggy than your normal single scroll turbocharger. Those turbos are nestled within the cylinder banks here. And what that does is reduce any element of lag that you normally have in a turbocharging system. It's quite common these days, but it's essentially called a hot V setup. And that's why most of the time this feels like a naturally aspirated engine, hence why it's such a brilliant engine. It's also quite clever because it has cylinder deactivation, and you get that in between 1,000 revs and 3250 in comfort mode, so it can go down to 4 cylinders and save you a little bit of fuel, which no AMG customer really gives a shit about. But one thing that the E63S is different on compared to all the other rivals, it's got active engine mounts on the engine, which is unique in class. I showed this back at the AMG factory when I last visited, and essentially what this does is try to marry the dichotomy of having stiffer suspension handling the major weight of the vehicle, which is the engine, etc., versus having a softer connection to those parts and thus a softer ride. So this gives the best of both worlds, and I think it's a lot of the reason why the E-Class's steering and handling is just so sweet. In terms of power, that gives the car 612 brake horsepower, 850 Newton meters of torque, and a 0 to 60 of 3.4 seconds, although we test it to be a lot faster, so wait to see the launch control later in the review. Then we come to the gearbox, which again, it's a little bit unique for the E63 and more sporty than the rivals, because unlike a torque converter gearbox that you normally find in this level and power of car in order to handle the larger torque, the E63's 9-speed is actually a wet clutch MCT gearbox. And this is a lighter setup, and it just has faster reaction speed than torque converter. So again, setting the E63 up as the more sporty option in a lot of ways. Next, we come on to the 4MATIC Plus system. So this is an all-wheel drive car, unlike the E63s of old, but this is a fully variable system that can send 100% of power to either the front or rear as needed. It also thus comes with the famed drift mode that the E63 was the most famous for starting off in a mass production vehicle. Then of course, AMG ride control suspension. You get 3 modes of comfort, sport and sport plus, all thanks to the multi-chamber air suspension system with adaptive dampening system, ADS. In terms of the facelift, they've made modifications to the overall kinematics of the suspension to give it more of a comfortable ride, because a lot of people said it was really knife edge, and after I drove the M5 I actually agreed. So we'll have to see what that's like when we go on the drive in just a little bit. Of course, you've got the AMG valve control exhaust system, which is such a big part of AMG's. Now this car of course now has the OPF and plus has a lot of EU regs. We saw how badly that affected the new M5. And the RS6. And in a minute, I will show you exactly what it sounds like after I show you some of the big changes in the interior for the facelift. So there's only 2 forms of E63 available. One is the saloon sedan, and the second is estate wagon T model, whatever you like to call it. And while that doesn't have the lovely, gorgeous, meaty booty of the RS6 that we all love so much, what it does have is a lot of speed and dynamism, and that makes it the fastest wagon on the Nürburgring at the moment, which is damn impressive. It's a shame that they aren't making an E63 coupe, because that could look absolutely incredible, and I think it would have cannibalized a lot of GT sales. Although I have heard that potentially, as the C coupe and the E coupe in the future will be cancelled and merged into one vehicle like the old CLK, maybe that could benefit from a V8. Let's cross everything we have and hope that happens. So guys, that's the E63. So much changed outside, but even more changed under the skin to make what could be the super saloon king. Now, let's have a look at the interior. There's loads changed on the facelift. I want to show you all those little bits, and then the sound and the launch control before we go out on the drive. So guys, inside our facelift E63S, big changes straight away. First, you get a lovely intro screen with the E63 face here, which is great. I love these intro screens. Let's pop the car on, and you see we've got the new Mbux system. I'll get onto this in a second. Before that, the most important thing, and that is the steering wheel. This is a massive, massive change compared to the last one. In all ways, I'm not actually a fan of it. I think the cuts for the steering wheel, they look nice and they remind me of the CLK Black series. I'm not sure I'm a fan of the little AMG metallic bit under the airbag either. The old one was just so much more aggressive looking. I really also miss the 12 o'clock stitch at the top of the steering wheel. I don't know why these don't have it. But in actual handling of it, I've gotten a little bit used to it, I must admit. I've had the car for a few days, and on this, my last day, I've gotten more used to it than I did at the start, but it still feels really thick, and sometimes I almost feel like, am I getting less steering feel because of the thickness of it? It does look nice. I think the airbag is a bit too big. My main issue with it, is the touch controls. They're not that responsive. And for example, I'd be doing cruise control, and Merc customers will know this, that used to have this lovely toggle on the last generation one, where you could flip up by 5 or flip down by 5 miles per hour. That's still on here. You can click, which is nice. You know, you can click up or down. But in order to go up or down by 1 mph, you have to swipe. And that sometimes works, it sometimes doesn't. There's no haptic feedback for it, so you don't get any kind of confidence when you're using it. And that's the same with any of the swiping on here. It's hit or miss. When I'm using the screen here, it seems to be working at the moment. Will it work later? I'm not sure. It's just not as pleasing as the old E63's little square touchpad was. So I think that needs to be worked on. What I do love, however, and I really do love them, is the AMG drive control units here. Firstly, they're symmetrical, which the last ones were not. And now we've got even better quality screens within them. So they're higher resolution, and there's like tiny, tiny textures in there. Like on our left screen, we've got this hexagonal pattern within it. You can barely see it, but because you can barely see it, it gives it a really nice textured look. Same on our right side, we've got a dotted pattern, and then you flick through the different modes, and Comfort and Sport Plus, and then Race has its own completely unique look. The Ice mode looks good. Individual has a completely different look. Sorry, Ice isn't Ice, it's slippery mode, but you can see it's kind of like got little ice cubes around the edges, which looks really cool. And it's a similar story with the ones on the left. Again, you can change these to whatever you want, so exhaust or manual, ESP, suspension, auto start stop, AMG dynamics, etc. And then just choose your driving modes from here rather than messing around here. So this is a big upgrade if you had the first generation of the last E63s. The other thing I absolutely love about them is the shift paddles. They're fantastic. They're larger, they're C-shaped, they feel great. Really envious of these. I wish I could have them in my current AMGs as well. So these are very, very cool indeed. Now in terms of the driver zone, you have a multitude of different styles you can have, from your super sport to classic, understated, and the normal sport display. And then you can change all of the information from left, middle to right to whatever you want to have on those displays. And really, Mercedes and AMG killing it in terms of digital screens. This new screen seems higher resolution to me. The textures they've updated, everything looks that much sharper. So really, really loving that. That's something that, again, you will miss from pre-facelift. Then we come on to Mbux, and you can use it either as a touchscreen, or you have the touchpad here, or you've got touch on the steering wheel, which again, not as nice as it used to be in my opinion, but I like using the touchpad. And Mbux is brilliant. Either you can have CarPlay or Android Auto if you want it. If you don't, the navigation, the phone, all of the system elements, really, really easy to use. The best bit, and the thing that you'll miss in every pre-Mbux car, is the vocal assistant, which is very powerful. It can do simple stuff like, "Hey Mercedes,
how can I help?
Change the ambient lighting to red."
Okay, I'm changing the colour.
So simple things like that, or turning on a wellness program, or navigating to somewhere. Rather than having preset commands, you just talk naturally to the system and it responds naturally. And that's something that when you're doing longer drives really becomes invaluable. MBUX also brings things like seat kinetics, so slowly moving your seats, seat heating balance, energizing comfort wellness programs. You've got 64 different ambient lighting options in there as well. So there's loads in here for you to use. And again, it's stuff that you'll miss in previous generation cars. Now let's show you the sound. You're going to be very pleased versus other modern cars. Remember, you have to hold the paddle to get the AMG Emotion Start louder start up. See, you get a load of pops and bangs still. Other cars just don't do this. Let's put it in race and we'll give it some revs. Show me any other modern car that still sounds like this and is EU regs compliant and has OPFs. There's none that pop and bang like the E63S. And in fact, really, it sounds as good when you're driving. So I'm excited to show you this right now. Right, guys, let's first start with an Emotion Start again, because I love it. What an awesome startup this car has. It's fantastic, and you just don't get it in modern cars anymore. We tested so many great cars that are all, you know, correct in terms of the EU regulations and OPF, etc. But the AMG E63S is the one that nails it in terms of being similar enough to the pre-facelift. And I can't wait to show you the comparison video of the two of them that's coming up. Anyway, let's get this launch control started and show you just how quick this car is 0 to 60. There is not any slippage at all. You've got the brilliant Michelin 4S's on this. And look at the 0 to 60 time, 3.22. Phenomenal. And it sounds really good as well, especially when you get to the higher rev limits. Now let's actually start with sound, okay? Because this is a highlight as far as modern cars go. I'm not going to be comparing it to the pre-facelift. That is what the next video is all about. Let's be fair and compare it to new cars that are available today. Cars like the RS6 we recently tested. Cars like the M8 competition and the new M5 competition LCI. When you compare this car to those, this is the king when it comes to sound. Get some nice pops and bangs out of it, which again, you don't get out of any of the rivals. The rev build-up is nice. Yes, you do get sound coming into the cabin, which is live from our engine, so I've not got an issue with that. We're bothering people outside less, and we're getting the genuine sounds of the car inside the cabin. Of course, it does make the whole thing sound a little bit muted. It sounds, you know, the 53 sounds similar to the 63s, which sounds similar to the 45s, but you still hear the V8 rumble. And if you want to take matters into your own hands and play with the exhaust system in terms of the actual hardware, you can do that and you can get it to sound more like the pre-facelift. And then even coming to a stop, see the lovely pops and bangs we got? You don't get that in any modern car. So like I said, this is the king when it comes to sound, which is where the E63 should always be. And it's only going to compound because think about this. When the new C63 comes out and it's got that 4-cylinder hybrid setup, which was brilliant, as we reviewed, fantastic setup, should be an exciting car. Your only V8 super saloon from AMG, at least in the lower level, is going to be the E63S. So this will be your entry-level V8 super saloon. So the fact that it sounds good, really important for us AMG nuts. This is going to be the V8 saloon to have. So yeah, sound, very much a highlight for me. I love the fact you still get pops and bangs. I love the fact there's a strong V8 rumble. And I love the fact it sits head and shoulders above its rivals. Now, let's talk about handling. E63 still maintains its spot as the car with the best steering out of the RS6 and the M5. RS6 isn't anywhere near. M5 LCI has really improved recently, but the king is still the E63S. The thick steering wheel makes it a little bit unwieldy for me. And as you'll see in the comparison to the pre-facelift, I find the thinner wheel better. What is lovely though is the fantastically large shift paddles. These are fantastic. Nice size, nice shape, and linked to a gearbox that, it's okay, the 9-speed has improved over time. I still prefer the 7-speed DCT. And there were times that I was driving this and there was just too much lag, even in Sport Plus mode. And I don't liken that to the engine because we know the Hop V setup is phenomenal. I think the gearbox still needs work. But yes, as far as handling goes, I still think it's the king. It has a bit more body roll than the M5. The M5 felt a bit more on rails and static through the corners, but then it was more numb on the front end. Whereas this, the feedback you get turning in, especially at low speeds, is brilliant. You'd hardly believe it was an electric setup. What I like about the E63S, even in its facelift, is that there is plenty of emotion in this. And emotion is so important because you've got brilliant EVs like the Tesla cars or the Taycan, which are so fast, so planted, low center of gravity, epic handling in the Taycan. Why would you choose a combustion engine car against it apart from, you know, everyday usability? Emotion has to be a key point. And whereas I would definitely take the Taycan over the RS6 or the M5, would I do it with the E63? I don't think so. I think I'd want to keep for this. Speed has always been mega. I mean, you've got 612 brake horsepower. It didn't need any bumping up. It didn't need the hybrid system. It's an absolute beast. And it really is addictive to put the power down again and again. I love that about these performance cars of this era. Yes, 600 brake is a lot, but it gives you power throughout the entire power band. And it really shows you just how brilliant these engines are, particularly the 4-litre from AMG. The best thing about this car is the engine. The 4-litre is going to be remembered in the future as one of the best that AMG made, right up there with the 6.2. I prefer it in a lot of ways. Not because it's a massively better engine, but the fact that they went to turbocharging and downsizing and still made a fantastic, responsive and epic sounding engine. I miss the bucket seats in this. The comfort seats are lovely and they're nice, but I feel like my back is strained trying to keep myself in place, whereas the AMG buckets would have held me better. MB UK, you need to offer those. Those are really important to your AMG customers. I'm not liking how I feel in this after I've done some more spirited driving. Now let's knock it back into comfort. Exhaust on always, please, guys. And the great equalizer on the exhaust actually is putting the sunroof off if you want to hear a few more of the pops and bangs. As a daily car, this has been so brilliant to use. The slightly softer suspension and the lack of the jarriness of the E63 makes this even better. It reminds me of my GT4 door in that way, and I did so many miles in that car. And this reminds me of that, which is great. Plus, it looks very much like that car on the road, and the GT4 door is a good-looking car. Yes, this is less distinctive now because it hasn't got the typical E-Class lights, but it is that flagship AMG look. Again, in comfort, the steering has great feedback. You know where your wheels are, but the nice thing is it doesn't need that many inputs, and it's light enough in and around town, particularly low speeds. The turn-in is quite wonderful on the E63. And look, now we're driving slowly, and you've got really that luxury E-Class experience, more so than the pre-facelift. Obviously things are quieter, but more because I think of that suspension change. This car has made me really, really happy because this V8 is going to still be around in our new AMGs that are coming up. The one that suffers is the C63, but E-Class, GT63S, the new SL that's coming, the G-Wagon, etc., S-Class, these will all maintain the 4-litre with some hybrid help. And it's a fantastic engine. Look at it. It's super fast. It's really responsive. Despite all the EU laws, it still sounds fantastic. And you've got a V8 under there should you want to make more changes. And the overall package in the E63, being a pure combustion engine car, is a really pure AMG experience. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this full review of the AMG E63S in its facelift version. We've got an amazing comparison coming up with the pre-facelift if you're on the fence between them on our next Versus Mode episode. If you've enjoyed this, please do like, subscribe and share it. I've got this car for just one more day and I'm enjoying it, and I'm going to enjoy it some more. See you next time.